Hi, my name is Roger. I grew up in Cleveland, right on the border of Little Italy and University Circle. So I was privileged to learn how to cook Italian, and from the influx of people from Europe and Asia who lived on my street, who were professors and doctors who taught at the hospital or at the college. My parents were born in this country. All of my grandparents were born in Italy. So I have the old world influence, but I also have something besides Italian cooking. But I did learn how to cook inexpensively, but well. And that's what I want to push on this show, that you can eat well and not have to spend a fortune. Through the years, I've taught several friends how to make simple dishes, and they all said, "Wow, I didn't know it was that easy." And I guess that's what I want to do here. I want to show people who either don't cook at all or aren't sure of their own skills on how easy it can be to start from nothing and create something that's tasty, that looks good, and is kind of impressive. So for all of my recipes, they're just basic recipes. You can always add things or take things away to make them pop a little bit more, or as your skills get better, you can incorporate them into your cooking. But for right now, I'm just showing you basic cooking to get you started. Growing up, I can't tell you what some of the presents were that I got at Christmas time. I don't remember many of them. I've had a lot of Christmases. But I can tell you how special those times were through the food we had. Now, being Italian and Sicilian, on Christmas Eve in the old days, you weren't allowed to eat meat. And Christmas Eve, we would get it either my dad's family or we'd get with my mom's family. And the table was strewn with the Sicilian feast of the 7 fish. You had shrimp and cod and crab and smelt, and anything that you could imagine was spread out on that table. Multiple things. You could have shrimp cooked 3 or 4 different ways. Food brought the family together. It brought the tradition of Christmas Eve together. Anytime I have people over and I'm cooking, the place where everybody wants to gather is in my own little kitchen. And that's what brings people together. They remember the good times over food. They remember special occasions for their food. The different cultures, not just Italian, but Asian cooking and European cooking and Caribbean cooking and Mexican and anything in between. And it's coming to the forefront now. It's not just your basic cooking. There's influences from all over the world, and that's what makes it special. When I was growing up, my mom would not let me in the kitchen. The Italian tradition was you taught your daughters how to cook. So I stood in the doorway and I watched. And this was back before the Food Network. This was back when there was only 3 channels on your TV. So I didn't have the Food Network to help me. And when I got interested in cooking, I relied on my memory of what my mom did, and then I watched the cooking channel. and I was hoping that somebody would show me how to do these things from scratch. Easy recipes. But instead, I found recipes that were way beyond my skill. But I was able to pull a few tricks from this cook, from that chef, and from this person to put it all together. But I truly wish I had something that showed simple steps on how to begin, so that at one point when you're out at a restaurant eating, you could say, oh, this has such and such in it. Or could you tell the chefs that add a little bit more of this, or to take this away? And that will help you. It'll help your palate. It'll help you build the confidence you need to cook. I've cooked for a lot of people. I've cooked for a few people. Lately it's just my wife and I. But there's times when I've cooked for parties of 12 people in their homes, for dinners that sold as auction items for art centers. And I had to do everything from soup to nuts. It was fun, it was nerve-wracking, but it was fun. When you prepare a meal, you have to think who you're preparing it for. Is it just you? Is it for a few people? Is it for a special occasion? Sometimes 1 or 2 courses will be enough. Sometimes you want to go the whole gamut. Appetizers, salads, entrees, desserts, and sometimes just a few dishes will be enough. Over time, you learn how to do that. You can't try to start running if you don't know how to walk yet. And that's what this show is about. Someplace and you had a bite of something, and all of a sudden the memories came flooding back. I get that a lot. I get it very often. Food basically was the center of my life. My mom was a great cook. A few things were a little, but for the most part she was a great cook. And she cooked the things that her mother cooked, which was Italian. But I love when I go someplace, whether it's an Italian place or somebody's home, and they've cooked something that I haven't had in a while, and I bite into it. And suddenly I'm a kid again, sitting in my mom's kitchen, or at the local bakery, trying cheesecake for the first time, or as an adult, having something I never had before. Clam's Casino. There used to be a restaurant in Cleveland called Captain Frank's. Was around for generations. My folks went there. My older siblings went there. I went there. That was the first place I ever had Clam's Casino. And I crave it to this day. It's not something you find anywhere. But when you taste things, it brings you back. It brings you back in time. It brings you to a happy place. It brings you to a time where you weren't worried about this or you weren't worried about that. And I'm sorry, but I don't do processed foods. Which really bothered my kids. When I went grocery shopping, they'd complain, "Oh, Dad buys ingredients, but Mom buys food." Because she would buy things like frozen nuggets or things that the kids could pop into the microwave to heat up when they get home from school between school and dinner time. But by me buying ingredients, guess what? My two sons are very good cooks, and my daughter-in-laws are very appreciative. So food takes you back to time. And when it takes you back to time, there's no end to time, because you can go back as far as you want. So, after many years and a few years of retirement, I'm finally getting the chance to do a show. Something that I've wanted to do for a long time, but you know how life gets in the way. But I've shown my granddaughters how to cook right here at the stove, right here in this kitchen. And they loved it. And I loved the bonding time. And so that's what I like about cooking. This is where I want it to be. I want you to learn how to cook so that you can spend time with your family, quality time. Not on the phone, not just listening to music, but cooking, hands-on, shoulder to shoulder, around the stove, around the sink, around the cutting board. That's what I want the show to be. Where do I want the show to take me? I want it to take me into your homes. I want it to take me into your heads. When you think about, what can I do with my grandchildren? What can I do? My girlfriend's coming over and I want to impress her with a simple but nice dinner. That's where I want it to take me. I want it to take me into your hearts so that you can see a love for food, a love for cooking. That's where I want it to be. So until next time, enjoy yourself, be kind, and cook.